And Indiana has done it. Their first ever Commissioner's Cup championship, knocking off the Minnesota Lynx. This is Howard setting up McDonald, knocking down the tray. Finds a cutting McDonald.
Against all odds, the Indiana Fever just shocked the WNBA. Without Caitlin Clark, abandoned by Dana Borner, and facing the powerhouse Minnesota Lynx, they pulled off a stunning upset. Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Natasha Howard led the charge with heart and fire. Caitlin Clark's 6-word reaction said it all: this win meant everything. If you've got the fever, say it loud: I've got the fever. Picture this, the Indiana Fever entering their first ever Commissioner's Cup final at Target Center, barely holding it together. Caitlin Clark, superstar sophomore, leading scorer, assist machine, and the face of the franchise, was sidelined for a third straight game with a nagging groin injury. This wasn't just any absence, it was the heart of the team missing, the player who filled arenas nationwide.
Caitlin and her status, just how did she look, how did she feel today during shoot-around, and is she making progress and getting closer playing?
She's making progress. You know, I think, again, top of mind, I think I told you this afternoon, is just long-term. You know, making sure that we don't have any setbacks. You know, making progress and feeling good are two different things, and we want to make sure that she feels good. We want to make sure that she's confident. We want to make sure that we're not putting her in a position to have any setbacks, and that's.
And that wasn't the only setback. Damiris Dantas was thousands of miles away, competing in the FIBA Americas, leaving yet another major gap in the Fever's rotation.
Listo. Hey Fever, good luck. I miss you.
Then came the Dawana Borner bombshell. A veteran brought in for her leadership and experience, signed to steady the ship, she walked away after just 9 games. Waived. Just like that. At a time the team needed her most, she quit.
Pretty flawless, you know, in the way that they're playing. And I don't know if different is the word as much as they look even more connected. You know, they're a team that was connected a year ago, but really the nuance of having each other's back on the defensive end, of knowing where your teammate's going to be, you know, discipline to coverages, the connectivity that they have on the offensive end of the floor. I mean, the way that they move with and without the ball, the way that the ball moves makes it really tough to cover. You know, I often say that offense is like a dance, and they are flowing, man. They are making music, and there's no doubt about it. So we have to try to be disruptive, and we have to try to take them out of that risk.
Now, look at who they were up against, the Minnesota Lynx, dominant, 14-1, defending Commissioner's Cup champs, playing at home with MVP frontrunner Napheesa Collier. The arena was packed, the energy electric, and Vegas had them favored by 14 points. Analysts called it a mismatch. Without their stars, the Fever weren't just underdogs, they were already written off. This was supposed to be their moment, Indiana's first ever Commissioner's Cup final. Instead, everything that could go wrong did. With stars missing and pressure mounting, every eye was on the remaining players, every critic waiting for them to crumble. The Fever weren't just David versus Goliath, they were David with a broken slingshot and half his army gone.
This is your first season with this batch of players, and so I'm just wondering if the Commissioner's Cup is just a stepping stone for greater things to come.
Well, I hope so. But at the same time, you know, we want to take care of business now, right? That we want to win a cup. So we're not looking at it necessarily as a stepping stone. We're looking at it as an opportunity to win. And then we're looking at it, you know, as coaches, as an opportunity to continue to stack days. You know, we haven't had a lot of consistency in our lineup, and so we haven't really built that camaraderie and connectedness that we need in order for us to be successful. But we can take another step towards growth, another step towards consistency on the floor, in execution, in energy level. We're playing the best team in the league right now, and we've got to come out and we got to play.
This is where it got ugly. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever looked like a shadow of themselves. They had dropped 3 of their last 5, blowing double-digit leads in games they should have owned. The offense slowed to a crawl. Ball movement vanished. Hero ball took over. You could see it unraveling. Contested shots instead of smart passes, isolation plays instead of trust. This wasn't the team that had thrilled fans all season. It was a team losing its identity.
What are some of the keys that you see as to how exactly you're going to do that, or what you guys need to do to approach the game successfully?
Yeah, I think we've got to be disruptive. We've got to make sure that we play with a level of physicality that doesn't allow them to just pass the ball around where everywhere that they want to pass it. So we've got to make sure that we're disruptive. We got to make sure that we're elite at our on-ball screen defense. This is a team that reads really well, that moves really well. We got to be elite at the point of attack on on-ball screen defense. We always talk about guarding our yard, being able to guard one-on-one so we're not in rotation early. I think for us it's going to have to start on the defensive end of the floor so that allows us to get out and run in transition as well. But we can't allow them to just do exactly what they want to do on the offensive end.
Anyone else? Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about Aaliyah Boston, one of the Fever's biggest weapons, left stranded. She'd seal her defender, call for the ball, and get ignored while teammates jacked up perimeter shots. Boston thrives with good positioning and smart feeds, but without Caitlin Clark running the show, those passes never came. You could see the frustration on her face. The offense had no rhythm, no identity. Clark wasn't just the scorer or assist leader, she was the engine. Without her, everything stalled. Opponents adjusted fast, locking in on Kelsey Mitchell and Boston, no longer worried about Clark tearing apart their defensive plans.
Coach Stephanie White has a motto. She says, "Pressure is a privilege." You came into the former champion's house and took them down on their home floor. How does it feel to bring Indiana their first championship?
It feels great. We knew that we had to come in here with energy. We know that they're a great team and they were going to go on runs. And so for us, it was about containing those runs and then going on our...
The Commissioner's Cup final became a defining moment for the entire roster. Could they learn to win without their star? Could they reclaim the ball movement and chemistry that once made them dangerous? That uncertainty made what came next all the more incredible.
Gave you the confidence to come in here and take down this team on their home floor?
We knew we were capable. God has equipped us, and so for us about coming here and doing what we know what to do. I think the entire game, coach just continued to instill that confidence, continue to tell us take it one possession at a time, and we did that.
The game plan was obviously to wall off the paint against you and Tosh, but both of you guys finished with double-doubles. How did you guys get freed up? And for you especially, how'd you get going late in this game?
It started with Tosh. Tosh, that entire first half and even that entire game, just really took it to them, made them have to guard. And so with her attacking from different angles, they had to space out a little bit. And that fourth quarter, I was able to score.
And finally, Aaliyah, what are you going to do with your prize money?
That's what we got.
Congratulations, lady.
What happened next will give you chills. The Fever chose to rewrite the narrative. From the opening tip, there was a fire in their eyes. This wasn't the same lost team without Clark. They came out swinging, locked in, and determined to win one for their sideline superstar.
Corrals it out to Cunningham in the corner. Got the three. Indiana on top.
Kelsey Mitchell rose to the moment and took over when it mattered most. From the opening quarter, she attacked the basket with confidence, setting the tone early. She moved relentlessly off the ball, knocking down threes at a blistering 41% clip. Her quick release became a weapon the Lynx simply couldn't contain. Nothing was forced, just Mitchell playing her game, and playing it at the highest level.
Howard finds a cutting McDonald, easy deuce.
Beautiful read by Natasha Howard. And Ari McDonald, that opened up the three-point shot.
Howard to steal. Open floor in front of her. Got the lay. Indiana battling.
This crowd is quiet. Natasha Howard is a former Defensive Player of the Year, knows the ball is coming to Nafisa Collier, just gets that deflection, gets going in the open court. And it is all Indiana in terms of the momentum in this game right now. This building is quiet.
Then came the turning point. Aaliyah Boston finally got the ball where she thrives, and she made it count. She dropped a dominant double-double, 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists, holding her own against all-star Nafisa Collier. With each possession, her confidence grew. After the game, she stepped up as a leader. Everyone is important. I think everyone really played their role. We really handled that fourth quarter. And then there was Natasha Howard, unstoppable. She delivered an MVP-level performance that changed everything, 16 points, 12 boards, 4 assists, and 2 steals, earning her Commissioner's Cup MVP honors.
It was a team effort tonight, but with 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists, your MVP is Natasha Howard.
Howard was clutch in every sense, going a perfect 8-for-8 from the free throw line with ice in her veins. Defensively, she was relentless, hounding Nafisa Collier into tough shots and forcing 5 turnovers. It was a dominant, all-around performance, exactly what the Fever needed when everything was on the line.
Gives it up to Mitchell. Mitchell. Over to Cunningham, long range, bottoms! Big time trifecta, Sophie Cunningham.
Sophie Cunningham brought the fire off the bench. She ignited the comeback with 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 huge threes that helped erase an early deficit. Her energy was contagious, her timing clutch, and the crowd felt every bit of it. Cunningham's spark had Fever fans on their feet.
Finds Hall, beyond the arc, is score! Holson with the trifecta.
And that's how you do it.
Over to Cunningham, long range, bottoms!
A joint effort across the board. Everyone on this roster did their part tonight.
Lexi Hull stepped up in a big way, proving she belongs on this stage. She played with purpose and refused to let the moment pass her by. Meanwhile, new signing Ari McDonald made an instant impact, dropping 12 points and injecting the exact spark the Fever needed. Her return to the roster couldn't have come at a better time.
Coming into this, you talked about so much, hey, you got to have the right approach, don't trick this off, like have the focus. Take me inside that mindset of you guys coming into this game and how tonight was just a collective effort that got it done.
I describe this entire experience as a gut check experience, and I mean that intentionally. I mean physically, mentally, psychologically. It was a gut check moment today, and I think for us, it was about making sure we won those moments that mattered. And I thought down the stretch of the game, we did an unbelievable job of just staying together, weathering the storm, and kind of utilizing what we needed to based on our schemes and our personnel from practice. And I thought down the stretch of the game specifically, we bought in. All 5 of us, whoever was on the floor bought in, and I think you guys got to see.
Suddenly, the Fever remembered who they were. The ball movement returned. The chemistry clicked. 5 players scored in double figures, and the offense flowed with precision while the defense locked in. They held the Lynx to just 39 points over the final 3 quarters and 34.9% shooting overall. When the crowd roared in the fourth as Minnesota cut the lead to 7, it felt like a shift. But the Fever answered instantly. 2 quick buckets from Boston and another from McDonald shut the door. There would be no comeback. The final minutes showed a team with true killer instinct. Indiana closed it out, 74-59, stunning the basketball world. The underdogs had done the unthinkable. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Proof that heart, grit, and belief can overcome anything.
Guys, I just know everybody in the league is sick. They're pissed.
But here's what truly lit up the night. After the final buzzer, Caitlin Clark, despite being sidelined with a lingering groin injury, was front and center in the Fever's celebration, having stayed locked in all game with her teammates, cheering, advising, and leading from the bench. As cameras followed the team into the locker room, anticipation built around what Clark might say, and then she dropped 6 unforgettable words: "Guys, I just know everybody in the league is sick." She repeated it with a knowing smile, calling out the quiet jealousy that had shadowed her all season. The moment went viral. Clark hoisted the Commissioner's Cup trophy like a chalice, playfully toasting teammates, including rookie Michaela Timson, proving she's not just the face of the franchise, but its heartbeat. Her presence, even off the court, captured the Fever's us versus the world mentality, one that fueled their historic, defiant, and unforgettable victory. This win proved the Indiana Fever could thrive even when the world expected them to fail. Media narratives were shattered. ESPN had even pre-scheduled a video titled, "Lynx Dominate Fever to Win Commissioner's Cup," that had to be quickly changed after the stunning upset. That alone says everything. Yet the Minnesota Lynx showed real class in defeat, with head coach Cheryl Reeve candidly admitting, "They just sort of beat us," a nod to Indiana's execution and grit. The Fever earned that respect. They didn't just survive without Caitlin Clark, they proved they're built for 2025 and beyond. With depth, heart, and resilience, they showed they can win without their star. And when Clark returns healthy, this team becomes dangerous. This was more than a victory, it was a statement. In the face of doubt, desertion, and injury, the Fever rose up and showed what true champions are made of.
No, it's not a WNBA championship, but to celebrate a championship nonetheless on Target Center on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, we have a resilient group. You know, they're tough mentally, physically. They pull for one another. You know, I don't know if it's something that I learned that I didn't already know. It's just I'm proud for them that they can see it come to fruition. Being able to handle the ebbs and flows of the game, being able to give to one another regardless of struggles. I mean, we had some players that were struggling. We had some moments where we struggled, but we still gave to one another. And that's a growth area for our team. I thought like our execution through 3 quarters on both ends of the floor was really good against an outstanding team. I mean, I'm just really proud.
The Indiana Fever just showed the entire WNBA what happens when you count out a team with heart and determination. They proved that championship DNA runs deeper than any one player. Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, Ari McDonald, and the entire roster stepped up when it mattered most. This win sends a clear message: 2025 is going to be something special. And when Caitlin Clark returns healthy, this team becomes downright unstoppable, because now they know they can win without her, which makes them even more dangerous with her back on the floor. If you support the Fever, comment, "I've got the Fever." Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Click the video on screen. We'll see you in the next one.